In Tishrei Tavshin Lamed, a lot of the Bochurim who came from France, from Brunoy and from Montreal, decided that they don't want to go back to their yeshivas. They want to stay to learn the 770 by the Rebbe. So, or they themselves wrote to the Rebbe, or Dan Holos wrote to the Rebbe. But anyway, the Rebbe gave over through Rebbe Yomin Klein that he wants to call them into Yechidus and talk to them. So on the second day of Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, Rebbe Yomin was going around to different Bochurim who from that group and told them that the Rebbe wants to talk to you and you should be ready to go into Yechidus tonight. So that night, a big group went to the Rebbe, and Rabbi Leibel Khan, who was the Chayzer, also went into the Rebbe, and since I had a Shaykhas to Chazor, I also went in, even though I wasn't part of that group. We went into the Rebbe, a big group, and it was pretty full, and we came in and closed the door, and I just remembered, by the way, that it was crowded, so somebody rubbed his back on the switch of the light, and the light went off. It took a few moments till they found the switch, and they opened the light again. And I remember when they opened the light again, the Rebbe looked towards the switch and the people who were standing there, and I happened to be standing there because since I wasn't part of the group, so I stood in the back, I stood by the door. And the Rebbe looked at that place, looked at me, but then he started talking. And the Rebbe started explaining that it says in Chassidus, a moshel for the neshama coming down to the guf from a king who wants his son to get the most of his potential, so he sends him away to a far place where there are hardships, and when he overcomes his hardships, that he uses his koiches, all his potential, to its best, and he reaches a much higher madrege. Same thing with the neshama coming down, even though the neshama is in a very high madrege, but the Eibush sends it down to this world, so here it goes through hardships and overcomes the hardships, it reaches a higher madrege. And the same thing is with Yidden going into Golus. That the reason the Eibush send Yidden into Golus, so when they overcome the hardships, they reach a higher madrege than before. And the Rebbe said that's the reason why the Rabbeim, starting from the Baal Shem Tov, would send their Talmidim to different places, and it wasn't Chas v'Sholom a punishment or a rejection. It was he wanted them to reach a higher madrege by working over there, helping others, and overcoming all the hardships. They themselves reach a higher madrege. And the same he said is B'negei the Bochurim that learn out of New York, outside of New York, and they're sent to learn other places. It's not chas v'sholem because of a chasson, but adarab, but they are the ones that are chosen because they have the special keiches to overcome the hardships, and they themselves reach a higher madrege. So a long sicha, and it was a great hisrakshis amongst the Bochurim that were there. And obviously we understand that the Bochurim did not stay in New York. They all went back to their places because the Rebbe made them actually shluchim and explained that this is all for their benefit, and these are special bochurim that have this shlichus upon themselves. Now, a while later, Reb Isaac Shvei, who was one of the Rosh Yeshiva in Montreal, came over to me and he said he would like to give in to the Rebbe the Sicha to Magia, and then he would print it as a Hagdome to one of the Sefer HaPilpulim, or as they would call it, Pilpul HaTalmidim that Montreal gave out. He would put it there, if I could prepare it. So I remember I prepared the Sicha, gave it to him, and he worked on it. He himself was Masagd in it. He worked on it himself, and he gave it into the Rebbe. And the Rebbe was Magia it. And Take, in the Pilpul HaTalmidim that he gave out in Montreal in the year of Tovshin Lamed Gimel, this Sicha is printed there. And there, in the beginning, when it starts off by saying the heading Sichas Kvekdushad Murshliter, it says under it Hatokas Mirshimas Hashemim, that this is a copy of written down by those that heard it. If I remember correctly, I think the Rebbe, when he was Magia, added that line, which usually it's not there. He added that line that's Hatokas Mirshimas. I think so. Now later on, the Sicha was printed in Lekut Sichas Chelik Yudalid in the Hisofis to Chai Elul. But it's taken all from the Kuntras of Montreal, the Pilpul HaTalmidim that they gave out in that year.